Yo, what's up, everybody? This is Byron Flores, aka Coach B, here with my brother Hek, just Hek, for just another podcast. And get ready for a good show.
Nice. Ballin'. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of Just Another Podcast, episode 17, y'all. 17. I can't believe 17 people. Tonight, as always, I got a special guest. All right, because all my guests are dope. Okay. If you don't believe me, go check my playlist. But tonight I got my man, Coach B, Byron Flores. Hailing from the Bronx. What part of the Bronx you from?
I've been all over. Started off by Jackson on Caldwell. Then, then moved up. I was staying on Webster for a little bit. Then moved up to Gun Hill. Literally all over.
So he's from the Bronx, okay? He's from the Bronx. Man, that's what's up. So how you feeling tonight, Coach?
I'm good, man. I'm very excited. I know from watching the other and listening to the other podcasts, I know you're gonna ask me some great questions, and I'm just ready to put out as much as I can. Hopefully, it's reaching somebody with some good info.
Oh, definitely, man, definitely. So I met you through your brother, who I didn't even know he had a brother. My man Los. Owner of Level of Simplicity. If you haven't heard of it, or if you're interested, or you really need to check it out because it's really
amazing quality.
It's amazing quality. I got to pick up a Somerset. I apologize that I haven't done so. I actually meant to buy a hoodie that I caught COVID, and I was sleeping. So, but I definitely got to reach out. Check out the brand. It's dope. Support independent businesses, especially Black owned. And it's a good brother. It goes to a good guy, man. It goes to a good dude. But I met you, and you came on the Basketball Only show.
Dope show.
And you thoroughly impressed me with your knowledge, especially the way you broke these down. I was like, okay, this dude is a coach. you was breaking stuff down, and I was just like, yo, okay, this dude is dope. And in the back of my mind, I was always like, yo, you know what? If I'm going to start something, a different type of sports show or whatever, I definitely got to nab him because your stuff.
Appreciate that.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, man. You lived in the Bronx, you lived in, various hot spots of the Bronx.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And just tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
Just growing up, went to school, played ball. My learning really started in middle school. When you're in middle school, you're able to travel by yourself. Okay. And that's when you start seeing things. Again, the streets is always out there. But really, more importantly, just picking up the basketball in that sense, and trying to make the best out of the situation, staying outside all summer long from the sun up to sundown. Going upstairs probably around 12, 1 o'clock from hooping all day, and that was most of what I did. And trying to keep to myself. Because I was a troublesome kid. Always wanted to fight people. Got teased a lot. Things of that nature because I had a short temper. So people knew that you didn't have to say much to me to get me hyped. Right. Mom always wanted to beat my ass, but So from there, I picked up basketball. Wasn't always the best, but I worked hard. Was probably always the best defender on the floor majority of the time. Right. And then that made me become a student of the game. Because we didn't have trainers back in the day. We didn't have access to YouTube and things like that. So if a coach didn't see you or didn't find you and bring you along, then you had to learn a lot on your own. That's right. And Lo, somebody who I was with all the time, he had the game. It came a little bit more natural to him. you know. So like me seeing him do his thing, I'm like, all right, you know, I got to pick up whatever I can as much as I can. And like from that point, that's what always made me like intrigued to learn as much as I could about the game and help me lead me to becoming a coach. Was, you know, not always being the best, but working my ass off to do what I can.
I would say I'm surprised with the short temper because I would never think.
Like completely different kid, man. Like anybody could tell you a few stories of like me trying to run away or me trying to beat somebody up. Like I had a few stories, man, of like me doing wrestling moves on people. Like it was crazy.
So growing up, what was it like growing up for you? I know you talked about, you know, doing like the basketball and stuff like that, but like.
So me and my siblings, you know, I got 3 siblings, and like being the middle child and all that, like, you know, I get it. You get ignored a little bit.
Oh,
you know?
Yeah, you do. You got to fight for everything.
Yeah, you know, a lot of stuff like goes under the rug. So again, it was a lot of fighting, a lot of temper tantrums, a lot of not being able to control my emotions. Got towards like middle school. Before I got to middle school, I think I had to go to therapy. You know, like it was rough. Hey. So like after that though, like once I got out of therapy, I started realizing, you know, I am in control. You know, help me get in control of who I am and what I wanted from the world. So I started like separating myself in the sense of, all right, what's my passions? I started drawing. Like I was big on Dragon Ball Z at that time.
Nice.
You know, like I used to trace, like look at the pictures and like draw it, you know, freehand and things like that.
Yeah.
And, you know, video games was always a good distraction. And like, I even got on a robotics team, you know, because I was one of the guys that was always willing to try new things, you know, anything that was going to keep me out the house, again, because I'm not the center of attention anyway. So I might as well be around people that I like being around, you know, like people, you know, people with common interests. So, you know, I did robotics in 8th grade. We ended up going to the national competition. You know, I went to 160.
That's dope.
Yeah. So got to get on a plane again, you know, went down to Texas. You know, my parents are from Guatemala, so, you know, we didn't get to travel as much, but like growing up, like, you know, able to speak a little bit of Spanish, you know, and like having some place to go, but never really going to Guatemala was like, you know, a thing. So getting on a plane for the first time that I could remember and going to Texas, that was cool. And yeah, so from there, I went to high school. And again, dad leaves the house around that time. So single parent, you know, you get free reign. So I didn't go to school if I didn't want to.
Right, gotcha.
And I was never really a good student to begin with, but made it work, and like somehow graduated. Like, you know, somehow graduated, but like just keeping basketball around any way I could, you know, whether it be like the St. Luke's program and I was in, or like, you know, like school, after school basketball in high school, and like that was the best I could do, because again, education kind of slowly but surely became a factor in my life.
Of course. You know, but I think, you know, like throughout the adversity, you know what I'm saying? Like you accomplished something. And, you know, even with, you know, the educational setbacks, you still did it. So, you know, don't shortchange that. Like, that's an accomplishment. That's a huge accomplishment that a lot of people won't, you know, a lot of people in that situation would have been like, all right, well, you know what I'm saying? You know, I'll figure it out. You know, and I've seen it. I've seen it personally. You know what I'm saying? You know, just seeing people that I know that was just super smart. And then they're just like, nah, you know, and, you know, with the whole single parent, you know, household, people don't understand, like, that has an effect. That's a huge setback, especially when, you know, there's no man or woman, you know what I mean, whichever parent you're missing, which 9 times out of 10 in our community, it tends to be the father. Okay. And you're not the first. I think I literally only have 2 guests that have been on this show that have had both parents in the households their whole life. Everyone, you know, 15 of you guys came on the show, and you guys came from single parent households, and you guys made it. And so, you know, that's, tip your hats to, you know, to you, to your mom, you know, and it's, you know, you're pretty sure, you know, what was your relationship with your mom during that time, if I can ask?
Teen boy, mom that worked super late. It was kind of rough, and it was a lot of she demanded a lot because she was trying to do so much on her own, and me kind of just going with the flow kind of thing. Didn't want to hear much, and then the temper started to flare up a bit. But then as I started working, I was 18. Got a job at TJ Maxx. Shout out to my older sister. She put me on.
Okay.
And then so from working at TJ Maxx, I got an idea of responsibility. And, from that responsibility, me and my mom started becoming close again. She's like, okay, you get it. I need help here and there. I'm like, okay, I could do that, and I could still afford to maintain on my own a little bit,
Right. Gotcha.
I wasn't paying all the bills, but, it was enough to where I could, give her a little money, and still look decent, look fly and stuff. So my confidence went through the roof after that.
No, definitely. That's what's up.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Like my dad, he stood pretty close, he still lived in the Bronx and all that. Mm-hmm. So, he was a phone call away, majority of the time. But as you get older, you start realizing, certain conversations are just quick, or maybe on holidays, and keep it in birthdays. So he definitely reached out and kept it as close as we could, saw each other also often. Definitely was a hardworking man, is a hardworking man, so I respect him a lot, but definitely, it just happens. It comes.
It does. It is what it is, but you made it through it. You know what I'm saying? And it's something that, people will relate to you, especially once they hear your story. They're going to be like, man, okay. And it's it's one of those things that in our community, it's such I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't know anybody that came from a dual parent household. To be honest with you, that was just the makeup. And I growing up in the crack era, where a lot of people's parents were either in jail or on drugs. That's just the nature of that. But no one, you know what I'm saying? Literally, I don't know. I literally can't. I would have to really, really deep think. But it was either a mom, and in some cases it was a dad. That was it. So
definitely very fortunate on that end, because again, immigrant parents, coming from another country, all they wanted to do was work, and then again provide a better life, for their kids. So we also had a lot of cousins that was close by, and then a lot of aunts and uncles that we went to different houses for the weekend and hung out. So I'm real close to all my cousins, and my aunts and uncles were always visual, to me, and even though they ended up splitting a little later, everyone, has their time. So they held on to lead by example, even after my pops left the house. So
yeah, definitely.
Shout out to the family. And shout out to my parents for providing.
Shout out to your parents, because they raised yours, and I know you probably gave them hell when you were younger, but you definitely was the diamond in the rough, man. Definitely. I mean, listen, I would never be able to see. I'm really? Listen, I've never even when you disagree, you'd be like, they whack, and then you laugh it off, and then it's it's crazy, but you definitely turned out good, man. I mean, for real. I want to ask you, so you talked about just the therapy, right? And what was that like for you, if you want to touch on that?
Like I said, I was teased, I had a short fuse at that time. So anything could set me off. And then just had a moment where my siblings was teasing me too. So I was I don't know what to do, and then I almost threw myself out the window. Wow. And then my siblings pulled me back in, and they told my mom, and my mom started crying, and instantly you feel bad as a kid at that point. I was probably around 9-10 years old. And she's we got to do something. So, started going to therapy. And at first, every kid, I don't want to talk to no stranger. So first 3 or 4 sessions, nothing happens. Mm-hmm. And then after a while, literally, you're talking. And then as you get to listen to yourself.
Yeah.
It's dang, I get to sort it out. I'm dang, maybe I could have handled it a little better, and they helped me find my passion for drawing, where it's okay, when I'm not feeling well, I need to calm down. draw. I used to make like little like paper action figures in the classroom in school, and it was like, like do that. I'm like, okay. So, like instead of blowing up, just channel the energy somewhere else, So definitely like it really did like save me at that point because my mom from school, we went to the babysitter, and then my mom picked us up, and then she took us outside as much as she could during the summer, but all that time in the house together in the same room, it's like people want to kill each other. Only one TV. Basically like being in quarantine before quarantine kind of thing. And like I get it because my mom worked late, she probably got off like at 6 or 7, still had to cook, still had to make sure the house was clean, still had to make sure, we was doing what we had to do. So it was definitely a challenge for her. And then like for me individually, finding myself as the middle child, and seeing everything going on around me, like the baby gets everything, like all those aspects.
Trust me, I know. The middle child is like, has to fight for the attention from the baby and from the oldest.
Exactly. So once I was able to, get my independence a little bit in that sense, it also helped me grow. But definitely, therapy helped me channel like, all right, I don't need to blow up after everything. So, let me like lock in and like, and do what else makes me, comfortable during that time span of like people just trying to make me be a person that I don't want to be.
Right. And it's pretty remarkable that you figured that out at like 10. You know what I'm saying? With that, I mean, going to therapy is just one thing, like, but you ended up fully committing to that at a young age when you could have just been like, you could have gave it pushback. Yeah. And for you to have the thought process to be like, oh, wow, you know what? I don't want to continue to be like this person. I need to figure this out because this will work better for me long term. That's amazing. That's dope. You're like a mentor to these young boys. That's why I put Coach of Kings as the title, because it's like you're bringing these kids up, and I'm listening to your story. I could totally see like how you can connect. Explain like part of what your role is in terms of like what you do and with the after school stuff, or your job. Like what are you doing in terms like what is that? Explain what that is.
Cool. So way back in the beginning, first I want to take this time to acknowledge my coach. He just passed away actually, Emilio Rosado. Bless you and thank you again.
Rest in power.
Yes. So like high school, I got with the intramural coach, and like he showed me like I could play a little bit and, give me that last little stretch of like basketball. Then after graduating, I'm still working. I'm working retail at Victoria's Secret by this time. And then I get to come back. Yeah. Fun, good times. So I get to like come back because Victoria's Secret's not making me happy. Like it was like I'm working out here and there in basketball, and I'm still trying to go to BCC for college. But like all of it put together it's not like fun. So I volunteer back at the school, to work with Coach Rosado and like help him train the kids. And from there I get my first after school job at one of the smaller schools. I coach in the intramural tournament. We don't win, but like, it's a good experience. I was coaching the bilingual team, because both my parents spoke Spanish. I got to speak a little Spanish to them. And that laid the platform for me to go to an after school program. And then from the after school program, it led to me getting to a private school, Avenues, the World School, where I'm at now. And like, so I was coaching. And now I also get to teach PE and coach because of the pandemic. They needed some help. So I get to teach PE and coach basketball.
Wow.
So
wow, that's dope. So
it's a big process.
So what would you say would be like your successes with that in terms of like working with the youth and stuff like that? Like what has been the successes? Any success stories? Like any?
Let's go down the line.
Yeah, please. Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
like just to have the opportunity to do what I do, like, you know, like working with children. Again, come from a big family, a lot of cousins, you know, so like seeing each other growing up, like those are one of the best moments I've had, you know, of my young childhood. So like having that same opportunity to like be around the youth and, you know, and get the energy from them, like all the instant success. Like, you know, because kids come with a lot of energy and like some people can't handle it, you know, some people, you know, are just like distracted from, you know, their worries that they don't get to enjoy it. But like a kid's energy is genuine, you know, like it's literally like a firecracker, you know. So like in that sense, like you gotta enjoy it. And just the connection to basketball, man, this is what I love. You know, like basketball was the thing that took away like literally all the hurt most of the time. Like all I gotta do is like go outside and shoot. And eventually, you know, it'll calm me down faster than anything else, you know, like, taking a deep breath, drinking water, doing all that is good. But like going outside and shooting until you get tired, it's like, there's no greater feeling. So like, I get to give that love and energy and share it with people that are trying to find their way, you know, like all these kids are trying to find their way in basketball or find their way through sports. So it's like, okay, you know, we're going to run, you know, we're going to talk and we're going to figure it out. So like that's the instant success. As far as like accolades, I've coached a couple summer tournament teams to a championship. You know, I've coached a middle school team actually last year to a championship, and that was the first championship in the school's history for basketball. So you know, that was that was like a big success for me, and like, you know, seeing kids that turn into men, because like the kids that I started with and back when I was working at Stevenson, they are now, I think like 22 years old or something around there.
Wow.
And then the kids that I started with after school are now like 21 years old, you know, and they seem to all be doing well, you know, like somewhat successful. And I'm happy I was able to, you know, to like instill some kind of like work ethic, if anything, or just, you know, drop some gems on them that are not basketball related, and you know, working my way up the ladder to, you know, having like recruits and things like that. You know, still early in the process.
Yeah, that's dope, man. You definitely had a hand in that. I'm pretty sure they let you know. I'm pretty sure they tell you.
You know, they reach out here and there, so some are like really close. You know, I keep in contact with text, phone call away. So
definitely, that's dope. That's dope. What are some of the challenges that you faced?
The first challenge is the sacrifice. You know, like early on, you know, I was a volunteer, you know, so I wasn't really getting paid. Then, you know, when I did start getting paid, you know, it really wasn't enough to, you know, support myself. Yeah. And I had to learn how to ref. Like I took an officiating course. You know, I'm like, listen, I want to stay around basketball. I want to do things basketball related. So I don't care if I got to play, coach, ref. You know, whoever's paying, I'll be there. So you know, that was to get into that lane. The kids ain't always peachy, man. You know, again, I had a bilingual team, so there was some language barriers. You know, and my Spanish ain't perfect, so you know, I messed up a couple of things here and there. Had a few like troublesome kids that ended up getting caught up with the law. You know, that's definitely tough. You know, had a kid that passed away. You know,
wow.
Man, I hope I'm not forgetting somebody, but yeah, you know, had a.
Do you know what they passed away from? Was it something, or was it violence or something like that?
No, he had his name was Ian. He had a heart condition, and he was like born with it. So when the story came out, like he technically wasn't supposed to make it to the age of 14, but kid, you know, again, basketball brings a lot of people together, and he had somebody that he matched my energy, you know, and he wanted to be a student of the game. So, shout out to Ian.
Rest in peace. Rest in power. Yeah, definitely. Wow.
A couple other kids passed away too. Brandon, he wasn't a basketball kid, but he also played basketball. He was at the after school. You know, he had a condition.
Yeah.
Oh
man. How'd you go about processing that? Because that's a huge deal.
Oh man. All right. the story is it's summertime. We had summer camp. You know, everybody's coming back for like the big all-star game, you know, where we play, you know, the kids come and play and some of the kids and the staff play together. Cool. Right. We're on the layup line, regular day. I have been seeing Ian here and there all summer because I'm telling him, like, yo, come to Chosen, you know, tournament downtown. Shout out to Chosen. Shout out to Winnie.
Got you.
You know, tournament at LES. Mm-hmm. So he came to a couple games, you know, and he's getting ready for high school. Because, you know, he just graduated 8th grade. He's getting ready for high school. And, like, you know, so I'm like, yo, I got you. You know, I coached you in the Cornerstone League. I got to coach in Cornerstone League.
Shout out to Cornerstone League.
Shout out to Cornerstone. Like, definitely gave us an opportunity, you know. And all-star game, we get on the layup line. You know, everything seems fine, you know. And then we go into the locker room for introductions. Like, you know, they're going to call everybody out. Jay-Z's... Magna Carta came out. That album was out.
2013. So, 2013. Yeah. Right.
So, you know, they asked me what song you want to hear.
Yeah.
And, you know, after me, you know, I got it. I'm like, yo, that's what I want. So he was like, I'm gonna have the you know, the beat playing when we do the intros. We're in the locker room getting ready for the intros. It's kind of hot. We're just talking, trying to breeze through it real quick, and Ian collapses.
Oh, man.
It's like, you know, again, kids in the locker room, kids out, you know, from the summer program trying to watch the game. And we're like, come on, stop playing. But like he's just there, like not unresponsive. And one of the senior staff members started to give him CPR. And at this point, you know, it's just no one knows what to do. And like, it's, you know, they dial 911. I'm on the phone trying to reach his mother or father, you know, let them know we have a situation and to get this as soon as possible. EMS, I can't recall the time, but EMS finally shows up, and it wasn't looking good.
Right.
You know, so they take him out, and that was how that day went. And you know, they had a counselor come talk to everybody and things like that. The kids that were not in the locker room didn't get to see much, and then but everyone else, you know, that was in the locker room obviously played with him and was close to him. So.
Man,
that's
rough.
Part.
That's definitely rough. You know, and how did you guys get through that? You know what I'm saying? Because I mean,
they had counselors for everybody. You know,
the grief counselors.
You know, come speak to majority of the group.
Mm-hmm.
You know, staff try to stay together for as long as we could. You know, no one really wanted to leave.
Right. I hear you, man.
We all went to the service together, and day by day after that, you know, still have the game in his memory. And
that's what's up.
Yeah, and then the kids and myself, you know, we still try to get together during the day in the summer because you know, we get over.
That's what's up. Definitely. So, you know, it's that's powerful. How did you get through that though? Like what was your steps to getting through that? Because that's tough, man. But I'm pretty sure the youth had you to kind of help them, and the other staff as well. Shout out to the other staff, you know. But having you there and to help them deal with that probably was definitely a plus. What do you got coming up? I know you had some games coming up, and they got pushed back.
Yeah, you know,
that's a fiasco, man. That's why I texted you. I was like,
AU
doing that. Like, Jesus Christ, man.
AU is interesting, but currently with the King Hoops program, so you know, just started with them in the fall, you know, and debated on whether I wanted to do AAU for a long time, and then like really had to be the right fit. So when they, you know, when they reached out, like it felt like the right fit. So I'm happy. It's working out the way it is, and also, you know, got my own program, you know, trying to get started. Think, Play, React, you know, with my brother Los. So we're gonna get some free workouts coming out definitely for the weekends that are not AAU weekends, and then hopefully a couple of days during the summer, and like, you know, kind of get back and build because we're starting from the ground. So, you know, build that way.
Definitely.
And eventually, hopefully, have a team put together.
Okay. What do you think? do you think playing as a player entering the AAU circuit, do you think that that's a plus, or do you think that that's a setback to someone developing their game?
Best place to develop your game is in practice, but like the game is used to like implement those skills. So like, but if you're on the floor, you're getting better. Your IQ is getting better. Your instincts are getting better because you're getting a better feel for the game. So definitely time on the floor. There's no replacing that. Yeah. Also, system is always going to be a thing where you have to go through different coaches. You're never going to get every coach that you need before you get to those late high school career, and that late college career. It's like, oh man, I wish I would have learned this sooner. You just never know what you're going to get from a coach. You already know there's the street coaches,
Without a doubt.
And then there's the coaches that see the game different.
Yeah.
I was just watching Gilbert Arenas' podcast, and he mentions that he wanted all his guys being able to score. He doesn't want an Eric Snow type of point guard. So like you got to be able to put the ball in the hole in that sense. So the way I see the game, like you got to have at least one glue guy. I don't care if you can't score. I don't care if you're not the best ball handler, but like you're gonna do whatever you can to make sure everyone else on the floor is good, and you're gonna do all the dirty work. That then definitely need one of those, and then plug and play the rest of the pieces after that. Once you got the glue guy, the heart of the team on the floor, and that he can stay on the floor without turning the ball over or without making too many mistakes. Yeah. Like that, like that's how you win.
I was reading it was a USA Today article where they talked about the AAU circuit, and the writer, I forget his name.
It's a cash cow.
So he mentioned that, but he also mentioned that he couldn't see how the AAU circuit was a viable place for youth to develop their game. He said the only thing that he took from the AAU circuit was that it was great for exposure. But he said when he only saw players being developed to work on what they were good at. He said he didn't see actual player development. It was like, you know what? If you're good going right, then you're going to go right. Well, you'll figure out your lefty game later, but right now we got to win this game, so you're going to go right 100 times. And he broke that down, and I was kind of interested. I was just like, I don't know. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Like, do you you agree with that, or what do you think?
Back to the cash cow comment, like literally parents pour their money down into giving their child that exposure, the opportunity. Okay. Your high school season or your middle school season, or your college season is for you to, buckle down and learn those things. If you want to spend your summer learning on those things, you can do that as well. There should be a more high profile alternative program, but AAU, again, the sneaker companies are in it. It's a machine that cannot be stopped at this point because
without a doubt,
like the money that's coming out of it, if the right kids are in it, high school mixtapes are being made out of AAU seasons.
Without a doubt.
Number one ranked kids are coming out of it. Before you would have to go to like the ABCD camp, or the Nike camp, and that's how you get your ranking up. So instead of making it a camp, they turned it into a summer season long, where it's like, okay, the best kids will come and play, and then we're gonna rank them that way, and everybody wants to be ranked high because what comes from that? Again, sneaker deals. The top colleges are offering you, and even the G League, and now this overtime situation. So AAU is for those who want to be a part of it. Yeah. And if you want a separate program for like, skill development, then you have that as well. But when you get to the league, you only focus on one or two things anyway. Like Nerlens Noel, what does he do? Rim protect, like so many guys get to the league and never work on their game anyway. So it's really based on the individual. If you have that mentality, that mindset that I want to get better, I'm sorry, but Kobe Bryant per se, then you get better. And everyone else, it misses them, man.
Ah, without a doubt. I agree. So let's talk about your company. the company with your brother. I think that sounds awesome. What is it again? It's
TRP. Think, Play, React.
That is an amazing. That's a really dope name. Explain how you thought about, like, how you guys came to in birthing that idea, and what are the principles behind it?
So, Lowe's program director for our school program. Me having my multiple backgrounds with working with kids, it made sense. And giving back the best way we knew how through basketball. He wanted to create opportunities to not just teach sport, but also to make them leaders. And definitely he's come to watch me coach plenty of times, and he's seen the way I interact with my players. It's like, it's time to do something bigger. COVID shined the light on got to do what makes you happy, and being around the game makes us and keeps us happy, so being able to share that and still instill, quality, I guess, like, values in a sense,
right?
That's the plan. And
all right,
definitely.
That's dope. Think, Play, React. But yeah, think TRP. Play, or Think, React, Play. Think, Play, React, TPR.
No, TRP, my bad. Think, React, Play.
Think, React, Play. No, that's dope. When you have something like Think, React, Play involved, and you're grooming these young people early, and you're adding that niche, because also understand too that their brains are still in development. So, but if you're adding that into that, you're kind of grooming them to think, react, play, and you can also kind of relate that to real life.
Yep.
Someone tries, you think, react, and the play is like, kind of like, yo, walk away. Because that's not worth you doing 30 years in prison. You know what I'm saying? Because, whatever the case is, it's not worth it. It's not worth, or you do something and now you got to watch your back, because you don't know what's the next thing, the next move. It may not be just telling on you. Maybe he might try to gun you down in the street or whatever the case may be. So, I could see that as something that can be so amazing. Is it going to be gender specific or?
No.
Oh, so definitely for young men and women, this is going to be awesome. That's going to be super successful. You guys are going to kill that. Seriously, I could see that. You just gotta, you branch it out, and we definitely gotta put that out there. But that sounds dope. That's amazing. Have you looked at, did you look at any models? Like, is there anything like that out there right now, or is it kind of like?
No, we didn't get into like that aspect of it. We're just still putting like things together, and fine tuning how we want to, give certain information, and definitely just getting out there and working with the kids, definitely be the first thing. And once we get that target group, that first focus group kind of in a sense,
definitely
take off from there.
I would suggest, you guys do just some research to kind of see if there's anything like what you're doing. And then kind of see, okay, if that's what worked for them, okay. Obviously, you got to do what works for you and your skill sets and what you guys are doing. And I think you guys are going to be fine regardless, But it's always good to kind of see that's how you stay ahead of the curve in terms of like what can be successful for youth and what has shown to work. And then, obviously, if you're going out for grant monies and stuff like that, and, you get your 501c3, that's like your nonprofit license or whatever the case may be. But you can kind of look at that and be like, okay, this is the model that worked for them. So we can use that a little bit, but this is what we're going to do around that. You know what I'm saying? But man, that's exciting. What are you, what are your thoughts behind that, man?
Like the work, I'm a hands-on kind of guy. So
Definitely.
once we get out there, you know, I can make it flow and like everything just comes out natural. And then the paperwork part, you know, Los is, you know, helping me with that because, you know, that's the first step. And then we're gonna have the pitch. And hopefully we can get into a program, you know, and deliver it on a consistent, like weekly basis in a sense, and just build.
Yeah, definitely. Like 5 years from now, like TRP. They're gonna be like, yo, oh, TRP? Oh yeah. Yo, I'm on the waiting list.
Hopefully, you know, we grow and we don't need no waiting list. But yeah, that's the plan, man. And like, you know, like being able to like free up my time and, you know, like really lock in, you know, because again, something else COVID, you know, put in the forefront, you know, make time for what you want.
Oh, definitely, man. Definitely. That's amazing.
Look, like, I've been working with kids for so long, man. Like, it's literally like something I can do by the back of my hand. You know, like I'll be shocked that there's a kid that like, well, you know, there's always that one kid that's like super overwhelming and no one can calm down. You know, even that kid, you know, I could find a way to,
definitely,
even, you know, try to, you know, direct them in the right way. But you know, there's always that one that can't. Like, all right, you just need your mother. I'm talking about a really young person.
Well, in my experience in dealing with youth, I've learned that everyone is different, right? Everyone has it's like dealing with a different universe, so to speak. So how you deal with child A is not how you're going to deal with child B, because those are two different children or two different youths. And number two, I learned this from an old mentor. You know, you're not gonna in our line of work or in your line of work specifically when you're dealing with youth, you're not going to get people that are youth that are already put together.
Yep.
It's your job to help develop them along with their support systems.
You got to ask all the right questions, you know, and you got to keep chipping away, and then eventually they'll give you that one piece of information that says we have something in common.
Right.
And then from there, okay, we got some things in common.
Right.
You know, you show them no harm. And then, you know, that's what's like, all right, now we can keep having constant conversations based off what we have in common, and or they get comfortable enough to, you know, vent their stories to you.
Definitely.
And, you know, just let them know that they have an ear.
I think what you're doing is amazing. That project with you and your brother Los is going to be amazing. And, you know, you guys out there, when you hear about TRP, definitely, you know, show us some love, show us some support.
Peace.
You know, and definitely, you know, look out for Coach B on the AAU circuit.
Yeah, you know, I'm going to be yelling a little bit, you know, I might get attacked, but, you know, the kids know I mean well, so you ain't got to worry about that. And hopefully we get a couple.
That's crazy. Like, to see you, listen, I'm a little nervous now.
Oh, man, like, you know, again, basketball, first love, you know, passion, like, turns all the way up. All that energy, you know, from, like, being a turn-up kid goes right into basketball. And, you know, yeah, the kids, they understand, you know, because we talk about it all the time. Like, listen, I'm yelling at you, but it's because I'm really trying to yell through and like get you to understand certain parts of the game. And then I break it down for them even more. Okay, like, this is our mistakes, you know, like, this how I think we should fix it, and tell me if it makes sense. And then they usually like, you're right, coach.
Right.
I point out the mistakes, man. I'll point out all the mistakes. And then they look like, oh, picking on me. Like, nah, it's not working.
Right.
Like,
you're bumping your head. You're bumping your head right now. Like,
yeah, you know,
like, your head, I'm gonna keep telling you.
Like, there's a glass there. Go the other way.
Right. Without a doubt. They'll get it. They get it eventually, you know?
Yeah. And they just, again, you got to help yourself sometimes. You know, I can give you all the tools, but you still got to help yourself. So,
okay.
The ones that really own it, man, like, I appreciate those kids so much more, because, like, all right, you get it, you understood it. And it's like, you know, you're propelling The ones that, figure a way around it, it's like, oh man, I guess you're making it work for you, but it's gonna come back to you.
Yeah, without doubt. No shortcuts. There are no shortcuts in life. You know what I'm saying? You be that kid that can only go right or only go left. All right, then they start, he can't, one arm, one hand.
Yeah.
Then they start angling you.
That game you really needed. You would have wished that you had it. Like, Coach, we was up 20. Coach was trying to get me to go left, but I didn't want to listen. Now we down 6, and I need to go left, and I go right.
Yeah, for real. Honestly, as a youngster, that's what forced me to try to develop. Like, I could go right easily, and I was fast. And as the skill level increased, and they start angling me left, and I'm like, so I would try to do the stop and jump shot, but you know what I'm saying? That only works at a certain point, especially once they took the 2-3 zone on you. It's like, man,
coach, look at you. Come on, man. Come sit.
I got that look a couple times. Come on, son. Have a seat. And you just sitting there, and now you like, damn, I don't know when I'm getting back in this game.
Hey, coach, you need to stop. I got you.
I got you. Yo, it's like you was reading from the same manuals and my coaches. They were like, have a seat, son. You need to watch. After that, though, I was like, you know what? I need to hit this left layup.
Exactly. Imagine if we would have had the YouTube, and all that other business.
That's true.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword because you get caught up in it, but all the training videos are there, and it's accessible. Definitely. Like, kid ain't got no excuse anymore.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. Favorite basketball team?
New York Knicks, man.
Okay.
First game I saw, it was I feel like it was the Jordan double nickel game. And I asked my cousin.
That's a brutal one.
Yeah. And then I asked my cousin, like, what's game 2? He was like, nah, they play the clock. I was like, I was like, okay, let me keep looking. Pat was the man at that time.
And you chose the Knicks after that game?
It was the whole team.
Was that the one where he did the pump fake and then he passed it to Bill Wennington down under? No, it was Luke Longley, right? It was Luke Longley where he did the pump fake and then he dished it like it was either Bill Wennington or because that was the 72. No, that was the comeback when he was coming. Yeah. First came back. Mm-hmm. Yeah, gotcha. When he came back from baseball. So I think it might have been either Luke Longley or Bill Wennington, but I remember that game. Yeah, that was a crazy game, man. Oh, man. So, my brother, do you have any last words for us? It's a great. I appreciate you coming on, first of all. Amazing person. I appreciate your time. I think TRP is going to be super successful. I ain't even got to wish you success. That's going to happen. I think you and your brother Los you're gonna have an amazing program with that. Just keep pushing that. I appreciate you sharing your story. You have an amazing story,
man. There's a lot more. Like,
I hear you, but listen, man. Like, we could definitely have a part 2. But I definitely appreciate you. I feel like your story, people will be able to connect to that. And really, just that this can have a positive impact on somebody's life. And hopefully, youngsters listen or, young people out there listen and they take from that and, they look at you and like, you know what? He took his circumstances and persevered through that. So do you have any last words, anything to look out for? Anything.
At Coach B NYC, please, for all the young coaches out there, if there are any listening, reach out. I'm willing to work and help out any way I can. TRP will be starting workout soon, so be on the lookout for that. Big shout out to my parents, my my mom, my dad, my siblings, like all my cousins, like literally all my cousins, like I love all of them the same. And we grew up, you know, together. And the ones that I met later on, thank you. My friends, my family. Yeah, my basketball family for sure, because, you know, y'all get me, you know, through most of the tough times through sport, and like definitely that passion, that love for the sport is definitely, you know, like has brought me to around a lot of great people. And yeah, everyone else, stay blessed, man.
Nah, definitely. Yo, man, that definitely shout out to your parents, because they raised, you know, and you probably gave them a little bit of hell. I'm sure you did, but you know, I think they should be very proud of the young man that you've become. And, you know, it's part of their patience with you, you know, definitely, you know, helped you develop into the person you are. So shout out to your mom and dad. And, you know, I mean, listen, like he said, at Coach BNYC, young coach, or you're aspiring to be a coach, reach out to this man, because he has a definite, his attention to detail for the game and what he could help you with will take you a long way, without a doubt. Level of simplicity, definitely look out for that brand. Look it up on Instagram. You know, definitely get your short set for the summer. It's a hot item. Every time I go on the website, I gotta hit up Los personally to set something aside, because every time I go on the website, something's sold out. So I'm definitely gonna have to hit him up. No, that's a hot brand. Definitely, you know, young entrepreneur. Look out for that. You know, support. Even if you just drop a like, but you know, support any way you can. It's a dope brand, and definitely, you know, what's up.
And if you're not following Just.hek and Just Another Podcast, now is the time to do so. Like and subscribe.
I appreciate that, definitely. My guest has been at Coach BNYC, Byron Flores. I've been Just.hek, and this has been Just Another Podcast. Good night. Stay safe. Stay sucker-free. Stay hater-free.
Love.
No, peace, love, and all that. We out.
Dadpiff.com world premiere. What's on